Good evening, everybody. I'm Fictional Crystals, and are Alteans still out there? 10,000 years ago, planet Altea and all of their solar system was destroyed. The entire Altean race was wiped out of this reality. Or were they? Alteans were a diplomatic race. They were known explorers and scientists, some of the most advanced in the universe, years ahead of those around them.
I can't believe your civilization created such advanced technology 10,000 years ago.
Spaceships and wormholes were common for them to use. They weren't only bound to their own planet. They spent time with alien cultures. Some Alteans were born with the ability to shapeshift, such as Allura.
Allura possesses a deep connection to ancient Altean energy. It enables her to operate the teledove and change her shape and size.
These Alteans could blend into other races with ease. Alteans clearly spent a lot of time off-planet. King Alfor is a good example of this. He regularly went to Zarkon's home planet Dibazal, and he went to Oriande. Considering all these things, it's unlikely that every single Altean was on planet Altea when it blew up except for Allura, Coran, Lotor, and Haggar. Some Alteans would have been elsewhere in the universe and could have gone into hiding with other races after Altea's destruction. There's also the possibility that the Druids are Alteans, as they have been shown to have powers similar to Haggar, who is an Altean. Perhaps the Druids were Alteans that got affected by the dark creatures as well.
Corrupted the same way Zarkon did.
But they could also just be like Quintessence beings, or at least just affected by Quintessence. One of the reasons why I think this is due to the way they die. They don't fall to the ground, light shines from them and they poof into thin air. From what we could see of Alfor's death, Alteans don't typically poof when they die, unless Haggar and the Druids are exceptions. Maybe the Druids were even made by Haggar herself. Either way, physical Alteans could still be out there, blending in with what's around them. But there is another way Allura could be able to communicate with actual Alteans. In this way, they aren't actually alive in the typical physical sense. However, their spirits are still present. It's through the astral plane, more specifically, the special realm in Oriande that can be accessed with the White Lion, the realm of the ancient Alteans and the life-givers who came before.
You have returned to the realm of your ancestors, the Alteans, and the life-givers who came before.
There was a voice that spoke to Princess Allura. The voice told her what she wanted to know, the secrets of Altean alchemy.
The secret is already within you.
What is Altean alchemy exactly? It's a form of quintessence manipulation. Altean alchemists can power up and give life to things using their quintessence. It's their life force. It's why Allura could pass the White Lion and Lotor couldn't. She was willing to give her life force in exchange for what she wanted.
It was an equal exchange.
Whereas Lotor tried to take a life force to receive what he wanted. Quintessence was a big factor behind Voltron's lion's creations. Without it, the lions would just be vehicles. They wouldn't have personalities, be able to communicate with the paladins. That's why Lotor wants to use Allura's alchemy on his syncline ships. Normal quintessence doesn't work to get the ships in the same state as the lions. It takes a real person's quintessence. Allura has the spirit required to give the ships some spirit. The paladins of Voltron are able to enter a form of the astral plane through their lions. Reaching the astral plane requires a strong bond with a lion. We now know there is more than one Shiro. The real one from seasons 1 and 2, and the clone called Coran from seasons 3 onwards. Coran was created by Haggar. He wasn't able to enter the astral plane unlike Shiro because of his connection to the lion. The Black Lion knows he isn't the real Shiro. Coran doesn't have the same quintessence a real person has. There's no soul. He's empty. He's a puppet controlled by Haggar. The real Shiro was spotted by Lance in the astral plane. He disappeared in season 2. Why is he in the astral plane? The paladin's quintessence is linked to the lion's quintessence.
The quintessence of the pilot is mirrored in his lion.
The paladin's connection to the lions can be amplified with their bayards. Their amplified life forces power Voltron more. When all 5 paladins used their bayards in season 5, they were all transported into the astral plane unintentionally. Except for Coran, but we already know why that is. Using the bayards in the lions enhances the paladin's life forces, their quintessence. It gives them more power and a stronger connection to their lions.
The Bayards! They amplify each paladin's life force.
Quintessence is life.
At the end of season 2, Shiro used the Black Bayard, likely enhancing his connection to the lion, which at the time was already extremely strong. Shiro could already see through the lion's eyes. Black could show him things, take him to the astral plane. Black protected him. most of the time. Shiro got shocked right before his disappearance. There was a battle between the minds of Shiro and Zarkon, the Black Paladins at the time. They were fighting for the Black Line's trust. Team Voltron, especially Shiro, did a lot of damage to Zarkon, but Zarkon did damage to Shiro too.
Perhaps my father did as much damage to their team as they did to him.
Black teleported Shiro away. Where his physical body went is unknown right now, but his mind has been found. Shiro's connection with his lion is so strong that he's able to enter the astral plane without actually sitting in the pilot seat of the lion. Zarkon could do the same back in Season 2, although he had help from Blast for Quintessence magic. Physical bodies don't need to be in the astral plane. When the Paladins did it, their physical bodies were unconscious, while their minds were in the astral plane. Due to his strong Quintessence tie to the Black Lion, Shiro's mind can be in the astral plane. He can give important information to Lance there, just not in person. That's what's going on with this voice Allura heard. She had entered the realm of the ancient Alteans and the life-givers who came before. The Alteans / life-givers' current home, Allura's home.
You are home.
They had figured out the secret of Quintessence, meaning they were able to enter this form of the astral plane. Remember, the lines were made thanks to the knowledge from Oriande, at least the parts that allowed them to have minds of their own. It's thanks to Altean alchemy Quintessence that the lions aren't just plain vehicles, they have life forces. The Voltron lions are directly connected to the White Lion.
I believe Alfor's Altean alchemy made that possible.
The life-givers were the first to discover the astral plane before it got incorporated into the Voltron lions. Zarkon said when you die in the astral plane, you die in the real world too.
When you die in this realm, your body dies as well.
Although, he never said if you die in the real world, your mind can't survive in the astral plane. Is it just me, or does this vaguely remind anyone else of the spirit world and chakras from Avatar? I've been looking up some stuff about Quintessence. By no means am I a Nerva, I'm not an expert on it. But here are some things I found that could relate to Voltron. We just need to translate some of these into the show's logic. Quintessence isn't a made-up term for the show. In real life, Quintessence is known as a heavenly body, the fifth element. It's said to be found in everything. As Nerva put it, it's life itself.
It is life itself. Quintessence is life.
It is directly connected to alchemy, hence Quintessence and Altean alchemy's connection on the show. Quintessence has more names than one, such as Ether and... Ether again? Aether? Yeah? You can see what's on screen. Quintessence acts as a bridge between Earth/ body and Heaven/ spirit. It's a connection between souls and bodies. The term astral can also be referred to as ether. Ether? Same as Quintessence. The astral plane can be entered several ways, including through a near-death experience, meditation, astral projection, and lucid dreaming. Or it can be entered after death. Physical death, that is. Considering Quintessence and the astral plane's spiritual ties, this realm is what I consider between the living and the dead on Voltron. For the not quite dead, not quite alive souls, it's a place life forces can go, without their physical bodies. The astral plane in Voltron can be entered by the mind even when the body doesn't follow. The minds can survive there even after the body's death. Allura sacrificed herself to the White Lion, allowing her there. Although their physical bodies aren't around anymore, their life forces carry on in this realm, so they could communicate with Allura and tell her what she wanted. That's the bridge between the physically living and the physically dead. Obviously, not all Alteans could make it there. We've only seen and know of a select few that have made it into this kind of realm, but it's still something left of Alteans. Their minds, memories, and personalities live on, like Halfor's did through his AI.
You are home.
Some would consider the life-givers gods. Knowing how to work with Quintessence meant they could take and give life to things, which Allura did do with the Balmira. Other descriptions for Quintessence say it is the glue of gods. It's the space between objects. In 80s Voltron, there was a character called the Goddess of the Universe. In one of the episodes she was in, she powered up Voltron with her energy. This concept from 80s Voltron could easily be translated into Voltron Legendary Defender, using concepts such as Quintessence, the life-givers, and the astral plane. Like I said earlier, Quintessence is considered a heavenly body and the glue of gods. The voice, life-givers, and place could be an updated version of the Goddess of the Universe concept. I'd like to note that there are different planes of existence. In this video, I've basically just covered the astral plane, yet there are more. The Goddess of the Universe may be in a different plane of existence. For example, the mental plane, the spiritual plane, or the divine plane. There are some others. It gets more complicated after the astral plane, though these other planes could be incorporated into Voltron in a more simplistic manner. The life life-givers might have been able to reach one of these higher-up planes as well. Anyway, back on the subject of quintessence. Other definitions for quintessence say it is a refined essence or an extract of a substance. That absolutely relates to Voltron. They extract quintessence from planets and refine it. In physics, quintessence is a hypothetical form of dark energy, taking into account this, and one of its descriptions being the space between objects. It reminds me of the Rift, the space between realities, aka the place filled with unlimited quintessence and creatures with the same aesthetic as the goddess of the universe. But perhaps that's a talk for another day. Like I said before, I'm not Onerva, I'm not a quintessence expert. I just looked up a bunch of things. So I'm sorry if I got a few facts wrong about what's considered real-life quintessence. If you know more about quintessence or the astral plane outside of Voltron, feel free to comment about it. But anyway, thanks for watching, and Rapid Tsar.
Let us